Good afternoon, on what is a warm, bright and blustery day. It is Tuesday the 18th of April. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a big box to, well, unbox. So what I'm going to unbox next is Filling in the Blanks, a guide to populating hex crawls. Filling in the Blanks is a supplement designed to help referees fill in blank spaces on their campaign maps with interesting features and encounters. While written for old school essentials, it can be used with any OSR style RPG or even more modern versions of the world's most popular role-playing games. So there we go. Yeah, old school essentials. This is by Todd Leback, and on the back, it's got the old school essentials logo, but it's also got OSR for all, which I think is a nice inclusion, because I know a lot of people can be very particular about which old school Renaissance retro clone they will play. I'll play Labyrinth Lord, but not Lamentations of the Flame Princess. I won't play Lamentations of I'll play Lamentations of the Flame Princess, but I'm not touching old school essentials. This is despite the fact that they're all pretty much conversant with each other. But what have we got in here? We've got a nice sort of like pen and ink piece on the back, and inside we have same artwork, basically just the contents page there, credits, and this has really sort of come out of the author's populated hexes monthly Patreon. So here's the table of contents. We've got an advert for old school essentials, which I thoroughly recommend if you're interested in a retro clone of any type. If you want to play in a Dungeons and Dragons style game, but using older rules, then old school essentials is a really fantastic version of basic Dungeons and Dragons. And so we get into. We've got to start with the advice. So hex generation, placing layers and features, alternate features, and so on. Discussing the value of your features. And then we get into feature types. So this will sit well. Oh, back up there, shall I? So this would sit well with Matt Finch's Tome of Adventure Design, and similar source books on designing adventures, especially for the old school Renaissance. So we also have adventure types. We're looking at geological, so we've got caves, and discussing things like elevation change, number of chambers, rocks, size of outcropping. So you are really kind of getting down, into the weeds of the thing, but into the details. Because we're talking terrain, soil fecundity, structures, and the structures can include burial grounds, unhallowed ground, monuments. So here you're building sort of like your cemetery, dwellings, fortifications, hill forts, and I do love a good hill fort. Infrastructure, roads. I grew up in an area where there are lots of hill forts, so I've walked over quite a lot of them. Aqueducts, bridges. If you've got a bigger city, or you've got a bit of industry going on, a canal, and then we'll talk about commercial infrastructure. So these are all tables that you as the dungeon master, as the game master, can consult, take inspiration from, And if you're not short, if you're short of inspiration, just roll randomly and go, and then sort of try and work out how that fits your, you know, what you've got, or connect it to what you've already put down on the page. So, you know, camps, military garrison, supply houses, monasteries are all discussed here. Shrines, and then we talk about barriers, which can be, you know, force fields, magical, natural, traps, trenches, walls, others, and then we get into dungeons, and that's really barely, really just, that's the only mention of dungeons so far. Just this sort of like half page, so quarter page I should say. Resources, so you know, game animals, livestock, ore which can be mined, both precious and common, vegetables which can be grown, other crops, potential hazards, flora and fauna, weather and climate, all of the elements which go into, you know, helping to make your hex, your area wilderness, your hex crawl, come alive, and then make it sort of like more interesting by adding magical features, unusual features, you know, and then, you know, possible signs of you know, of other features being recognised nearby, potential encounters and so on, and then we get into actual dungeons. So the dungeons is it's sort of like, it's got its own section, and again we're talking terrain and random terrain generator, settlements, water. But again, dungeons don't get a lot of looking in this book. It's really, again, I mean, you had that quarter page earlier, then you've got this double page spread here. Now, it's not actually the focus of the book. I'm not saying, you know, the author could probably do a whole book on dungeons in addition to this one. Yeah, so we are talking, you know, towns and water again, you know, flowing water, river deltas, brooks, that sort of thing, because, you know, you have a river, and that you sat on the river, and you can have lots of smaller rivers or brooks running into the river, a little bit like the Thames. So yeah, and then things like magic, how that's affecting the area, and what features it might pop up as, how it can affect sort of like flora, fauna, climate, and the like. At the end, other creatures and specials you might encounter. So the specials could be plain touch, a spellcaster. Other could be, you know, it depends, sort of like, you know, depends on how they're aligned, determining their alignment. What else we got? And adding in things like null magic, wild magic, ley lines, space and time. You know, just how weird do you want to make your hex, and its environments. And then we have finishing the hex, and we're really just working on this one hex throughout, adding details, and then you know, this is what what the author has rolled, and then here's how he's written it up. So you know, essentially he gives you all the tools, kind of shows you how to do it, and then sort of like, you know, here's what I made earlier. And then of course you've got the OGL. So yeah, that's a fairly slim book, but yeah, that is Filling in the Blanks, a guide to populating hex crawls, suitable for any Dungeons and Dragons style role-playing game. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below, and of course if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box containing a book which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.